The purpose is to shift the focus from school to education and shift the responsibility from school to community. But it's all about helping the next generation of our citizens to understand the importance of giving back to the communities. And so how can we best help them? And so whether it's Orville, Ohio, Akron, Cleveland, New York City, there are a certain percentage of the community that has at-risk children. So how can we best help them? That's the interest. That's what we first got involved in. 25% of this community are in the school systems. And so when we sat down, we talked about shifting the focus from school, so that building up there that people go to education. It's not just school. We're learning all the time. And so how can we shift that focus just from the people that are over at the school to the community? When we got that group together and it kept getting larger and larger, we clearly found that everybody had a passion for helping the next generation. And how can we do that? How can we support the school systems that we have without imposing any, you have to do it this way or do it that way? Just we want to learn. And the more we can learn about what the good that was happening, the more we could say, well, maybe we could help over here, maybe we could help over there. And the more people you had involved, the more ideas you're going to generate. Changes don't happen overnight. Anybody that's worked in education know that education doesn't, the processes takes a while. Careful planning and cross-section of the community involvement is important, it's vital. You have to be inclusive, not exclusive. There's no uniqueness here. Everybody can treat people the way they want to be treated. That's the golden rule. So the more inclusive you are. And then people will ask, well, what have you done? Well, so low-hanging fruit, I call it, in our business. Since we're in the jam business, we know what low-hanging fruit is all about. That's always the best fruits to pick at the right time. So to find the key low-hanging fruit projects that say, hey, this is something that happened and it's successful, that is important. The project needs a community to have buy-in, and if it has to be community-driven, it can't be driven by somebody else. It has to be the community. That's what we've learned. And it's also important to find a leader that really has a passion. And we're very fortunate that when we come to this Heartland meetings at 6:30 in the morning, we have a room full of leaders. There are two things that are very important. And learning flourishes when students and teachers are tightly woven into a fabric of real-life activities, when adults participate personally in the education of the next generation, and when the community really cares about its schools. And then last, we're further convinced that creating the outlines of a process whereby communities come together, recognize their needs, develop shared values, and work together on common solutions. So the process of getting together is as important as the solutions themselves.
It's a collaboration between the community stakeholders, business leaders, church leaders, and the schools. And it really is, that's what makes Heartland different. In every organization, I think success lies in, first, a foundation of purpose and values, and then passion that carry the purpose and values forward. And that's exactly what has occurred over the last almost 35 years now with Heartland. We don't know of an organization like this across the country because of collaboration between the community and the schools. I think traditionally, it's a silo approach. The community is in one silo, the schools are in the other silo. But what we as an organization have done over the last 35 years is work collectively with the schools on how can we help? How can we help to support the schools to provide our students with an opportunity to learn better, to flourish, to use this as a platform to go off and do great things with say, starting a family, in their career. There's just so many things that is above and beyond what a student learns in the textbook.
Well, school's a place, it's a location, but education is about preparing kids for life. And that's, how do you do that? And there's different ways to do that. And, if there's a curriculum and there's basic things kids have to learn to be successful, but then you have to teach them about life skills and how to adapt in life, deal with adversity, deal with challenges, move on, achieve, and do that in the right way. And I think, schools, if you say schools, there's different avenues we can do that, whether it's after school activities, sports, extracurriculars, band, music, but also the things that Heartland provides, like character work, mental health supports for kids. We have a significant EL population that Heartland helps those kids adapt to this country and adapt to schools and make them successful when they graduate, So all those things come in. To me, that's education. School's the place, education is how you do it and how you get kids to be successful. So when a kid walks across the stage, when I shake their hand at graduation, I know as a school district, and then I also know as a community, we did everything we could to make that kid successful. So that's just awesome.
To me, education is your capacity to learn and to be able to push through by being a student of life. It means that, yes, you are garnering skill sets that are around soft skills and around relational points, but it's also having a capacity to know how to get information and to know how to apply that information in a way that is about constructive thinking, right? So if we're thinking outside the box in a creative way, that means that whatever challenge that we have that we come across, we are able to take the information and then try something to find a path forward. Resilience is a big part of how we need to grow education today. And I think what has been really fantastic about the Heartland Education community is that it brings forward a sense of resilience by having protective factors of people who are for the students in the school. Then that really turns into what the village to raise a child is all about. As an educator, we would really get angry at that adage. We would say it takes a village to raise a child. Where's our village? When you're in public education, you know that it is the couple of room moms who are coming in for their kid as a volunteer, and then it's just the teachers. And it is a certain number of dollars, and it's a certain number of humans, and you are just white-knuckling it sometimes to do the best that you can. But if you really have people from the outside coming and bringing their talents in a way that says, I am asking you what you need, I'm not presuming what you need, inclusive of the student, then that really turns into relationship that can carry you forward and brings the student back to continuously be a part of that.
Village is the group coming together for a common goal. And in this case, it's the students and the school. Because, some students need support at like the English language level, but yet other students need support in the STEM area or wellness or mentoring. It is what do they need at making sure that every student gets what they need. And Heartland is the group standing behind saying, how do we help you? So that's the other part that's amazing is they truly stand behind you and offer the support. They're not telling you what to do. They want to know how they can help you. That's how Heartland is so supportive. There are incredibly talented individuals on our steering committee. CEOs and presidents and all of those wonderful people. But it's almost like they check that at the door because they walk in there and they're thinking, how do I help the kids today? How do I support the school? And how can I help? Because Heartland's goal is, how do I help?
I think Heartland Education shows us that it is possible. I always have loved the quote that never doubt that a small collected group of citizens can change the world, because indeed it's the only thing that ever has. That is what this is. If in other communities we are coming with that same precept and we are developing a cadre of people who are intentionally focused on learning what is next in this right season, then it helps us to be able to leverage and fill the gaps in.
It's not just that place where you're learning. You're learning all the time. And the more we recognize that we're learning all the time, the more we can help society. And then the shift the responsibility from school to community. It's our responsibility every day to help our fellow man learn.